Hello everyone, my name is Yuri Kasdorp from Mouse, and we are here for the first special event of the season. It will be the 6 hours of Indianapolis on the road course, and we are driving it today, the lap guide in the GT3 class, in this case the Ferrari. The Ferrari has got a nice update for this season. It drives a bit different, seems to be working well around this course at least. Quite tricky to drive, but it has quite a lot of speed if you can extract it from it. So let's have a look and see how we extract the speed from it to get you ready for the 6 hours. So here we are, end of the lap in the Ferrari, race fuel as usual, and started the stint. The tires are cold, and that means in the Ferrari it's very snappy. And one slide, make the rear step out, so it started the stint. Like now we need to be careful. Running up to turn 1, there's lots of brake markers. We picked the 400. All the way here, 400. I like to shift a second before the apex here for better traction on the exit. And careful on the exit here with the rear. Then we look at the entrance road on the right side. I'll brake just after that. There's a lot of curb on the right and left side here. And then a lot of curb on the right side here again to maximize your exit. Then back to the oval, and we use a 300 as a brake marker. Open up the last corner. I try to keep the rear in check for the last corner back to the oval. And that's the lap in the Ferrari around Indy. Right, so let's have a closer look from the outside on the lap around Indy. Gonna be quite chaotic, I think, with the multi-class, but for now we're driving by ourselves. So turn 1. I'm looking at the 400 here, braking just before the 400, and just get as close to the wall as you can. And what you want to look for turn 1 here is that you don't run too deep. So there's runoff here on the left side, but you want to make sure you still have a nice entry for the second left-hander. So what I do as well is right as I turn in here, I go tap on the brake to get the front to turn in, and I go to second gear. And it helps me here on the exit. Nice exit out of the corner. And then becomes a really tricky braking here because, as you can see, we're still turning, but we need to brake at the same time. And the rear of the car easily gets unstable here. We need to do the same on the throttle here. Be very careful on the throttle. And then you can run to the outside here on the exit, and the chicane will be flat. Because this is such a tricky and important section, let's have a look in the Delta app, how this looks like exactly with the inputs. So we go to Delta, we select our lap on the left here, and then we can see the lap here. We'll zoom in to sector 1, or even a bit more by dragging it over here. You can see we're braking for turn 1, slowly going down, small tap on the brake for the left-hander to get the front to turn in. Go to second gear here, and then slowly building the throttle up, and then we get into sector 2. Let's take in the middle actually. So we zoom out, and then we take from here to here. So this is turn 3 and 4, and as you can see, we're very slowly on the brakes because again we're still turning here. So very slowly on the brakes, only maximum 50%, and keeping it a tiny bit. And then back on the power, we also very slowly build up the power again to make sure that that rear end sticks and we don't lose traction out of here. So very tricky corner combination. We need to be very small on the inputs because again we're turning as well, and that rear is so unstable, especially at the start of a stint. So those are the details for those corners. Let's go to the replay. We got the chicane here. Chicane is just easy flat. Small thing to note, you can run very wide on the exit here. I think you can even run over the white line without getting an off track, but on a normal circumstances we don't need to go that wide because we have the grip for it. Then we get into here, and I'm looking at this entry road here. There's also the signs where you can use the 300 as a reference, where you need to brake a bit before the 300. But like usual, I don't like looking too far to the right if I'm into a left-hander. So I'm using this as in my peripheral vision. Once I pass this road here, once it's out my peripheral vision, I press the brakes. And if we do that, coming from the outside, we had a nice apex here. Get close to the curb without going over the curb here. And then for these curbs, you want to be as close to the grass as you can. If you clip the grass too much, you will get an off track. So you want to be as close to the grass as you can. Same on the left-hander here, as close to the grass as you can. You want to open up the next right-hander as much as you can from the outside. So you don't want to exit from too far from left-hander to be in the middle here. And then you want to go all the way to the inside here. 2 tires on the curb, still is not an off track. So we can cut the inside a lot here to make sure we have a good exit. And you want to make sure, at least by the time you go off the curb here, you're building up the throttle and almost flat out. And still making the exit. Because we have a bit of a, it's not a straight, but it acts as a straight going back to the oval. Then we want to make sure we're close to the 300, close to the left side already when we start braking, so we can brake almost in a straight line. We don't want to brake from the inside here, and brake almost in a straight line. Again, just about missed the curb here. You can touch it a tiny bit, but not too much. Keep it tight, and you want to open up the last corner a lot, and then once you tap to brake on the entry here, you can see the rear getting loose. You want to have very low inputs from that initial braking point to the apex. So very low inputs. You can see I let the car roll a bit, and then slowly back on the power, and make sure you don't lose too much traction here. Because if you lose traction from the left-hander, the tires lose grip, and it's very difficult to keep it around the next right-hander, which should be flat out. And another thing to note as well, you don't want to run all the way to the curb on the exit here. If you run all the way to the curb on the exit, it's very tricky to go flat out on the right-hander, which you want to do to maximize your speed back onto the main straight. And if you do that correctly, you open up the right-hander, it should be quite easy flat. And we're ready to start another lap around Indianapolis road course. So there we go, starting the season off right with a nice special event. Quite a lot of fun, quite tricky as well, especially starter stints in this Ferrari. But over the stint it should be very nice to drive, quite quick. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you're participating in the 6 hours this weekend, I wish you good luck and let me know down in the comments how it went.